Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here live every Monday night on the GSMC Podcasting Network, the GSMC YouTube Sports Network page. So make sure you guys, Superman punch that like and subscribe button to get some notifications when we publish videos and also go live. Definitely miss seeing you guys live. Used to go live maybe, like 5 times a week. Now, due to circumstances, working 2 jobs to provide for the fan bam, it just, it just happens. We are living in that day and age where, can't just live off of one income nowadays. But, it is what it is. Nothing bad about working hard, working your arse off. So on the free time, I do this where I would hope to, talk to you lovely people about professional wrestling. So no longer, let's stop the procrastinating and get into it. We have a great show for you today all lined up. We're going to talk about Smackdown. We're also going to talk about Karrion Kross's killer promo. That was, oh god, it was a beauty. It was a beauty. It was a work of art, and it comes from the heart, and that's a lot. That's definitely why under this Triple H Paul Levesque era, you've been seeing a lot of viral promos, and with the whole Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair going at it, maybe just a little sense of realism to it. So we're gonna break that down. Our third segment, we got TNA Rebellion. Gonna give you guys my picks and preview predictions. Then we're gonna talk about NXT stars to be called up. I got a handful of them. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know what direction WWE is based on what happened recently on Raw and a couple times on SmackDown. In our fifth and final segment, we got Trick Williams. Is that whoop that Trick era done in NXT? And if not, what's some possible storylines for him? Does he stay an aggressive babyface or does he turn heel? And kind of following not the footsteps of Carmelo Hayes, his former tag team partner. But, Carmelo Hayes wanted Trick Williams to kind of open up his eyes to, all the politics. And, sometimes you can't be a good guy if you want to maintain and keep what you want. And, he wasn't. And now he's no longer the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. So maybe some lessons to be learned there. So we're going to jump on into the show. But before we get on into any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Whether if you got a burning question or hot take in terms of a little professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears, 1,010%. We want to make sure that you guys are getting everything off your chest. So don't be shy to drop your comments inside the comment section. Go ahead and sound off. Tell me, guys, how you feel about this. This segment. And we can definitely go from there. And if you really want to make sure to, that your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, obviously right now, not live. But when we do go live, when I go live Monday nights at 8 p.m., make sure you guys, hit up the comment section, share exactly what you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be super chat. Just want to make sure you guys are, know that you can participate in this show openly. I absolutely prefer it. I would, rather than me babbling up here for an idiot, like an idiot for an hour. So, definitely would love to hear from you guys. Your super chats, obviously, if you guys want to give, obviously anything is, anything that's greatly appreciated. It helps us keep these amazing podcasters doing what they do best, is making sure you guys consume all the sports content that you guys love so damn much. And guess what? It's already free. So if you subscribe, you get some free content. Super cool. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super tickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is the best wrestling podcast in the world, together as one. Of course, if the super chat not your thing, go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Like I said, just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network, and you will do no wrong. So without further ado, without further gilding the lily, we're going to go ahead and get on into it. We have some WWE Smackdown preview. Obviously, the Smackdown after Monday Night Raw seems to be, like it's going to be a banger after banger after banger. Yeah, there's a lot of lingering storylines, so we're going to talk about some Smackdown. They're going to be live in Fort Worth, Texas. If you guys are, I think, no, they don't stream on Netflix. That's just Raw. But so a lot of people do have to wait till 8 p.m. I know on the East Coast it does, it does air around 5, because of the 3-hour show and everything. So I'm gonna hate it when SmackDown goes back to 2 hours. I gotta be honest. I love the fact that with WWE having 3 hours, an extra hour to ultimately cut in, you can put in a lot new faces. I love the fact that Carmelo Hayes hopefully gets a push after his Andre the Giant Battle Royal win. The tag team division right now is on fire, and I feel like it is because of the 3-hour stretch. So, definitely it's going to hurt a little bit. But speaking of the tag team division, we have the first ever TLC match. Well, not the first ever, but it's been a while since it's been on Smackdown. We got D.I.Y taking on the Street Profits, the tag team champions, and Motor City Machine Guns. Obviously, you saw the Street Profits, not defending the tag team titles on at WrestleMania, which kind of sucks. I really hope that I feel like every title should be defended at WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble. I feel like that for the 4 big main cards, where sometimes SummerSlam is moving to 2 days, a 2-day event this year. So, can't wait. I definitely would love to see, that's the reason why I feel like I give AEW, their PLEs are pretty amazing because, the card is stacked all the time. It doesn't have to be a specific PLE. It's all stacked. So I definitely can't wait to see this match. It's going to be, Motor City Machine Guns, fire. Street Profits, absolutely fire. D.I.Y, I've been waiting for them to get that push. They won the championship, dropped it to the New Young Bloodline. Then eventually got it back from Shelly and Sabin. So this can go either way. Pretty deadly. They got their shot. Obviously, sitting on the sidelines here. Los Garza as well got a shot, but didn't live up to to the potential of winning or expectations. So I think obviously match of the night, main event. Maybe this might be a main event. If you look on WWE.com or if you check around for SmackDown, SmackDown previews for tonight, they don't really give you a lot. They just kind of gave me that ladder match. But we know John Cena is on the card. He's expected to be on SmackDown. Definitely checked out his the rest of his dates and his retirement tour. They said it's supposed to stretch out to November, early December. So John Cena, he the new WWE champion. That's congratulations to him. 17-time, above Ric Flair. I feel like he ultimately does deserve it. Nobody in the business of WWE deserves it more than John Cena, and I'm happy that he got it. Turning heel, it is what it is. I kind of wanted it to happen, but in like a different way. This whole thing with The Rock and Travis Scott, it's a little wonky. I feel like WWE will pull it all together, and hopefully tonight we get to hear from John Cena. But you also have Randy Orton lingering around the corner. Maybe Cena gets RKO'd again. Are we going to hear from Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes, there was a moment on social media where it showed him and Brandy kind of walking away. Super upset they lost the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes obviously getting cheated out of it. First time ever John Cena's kind of won that way, which was, pretty good for the storyline purposes. What's next for the American Nightmare? WrestleMania Backlash is 3 weeks away, May 10th. So we can, start building up some content for that show. I feel like he will ultimately get a grudge match. Winning back the championship, not too sure. Definitely not too sure. I want to see Randy. I would love to see Randy and John Cena go at it. Obviously, Backlash taking place in St. Louis, Missouri. So, I don't know. It's maybe it might be, a poetic justice to kind of have Cody's right-hand man, Randy Orton, take on John Cena. Rey Fenix suffers a loss to Grande Americana at WrestleMania. I know Santos Escobar has his eye on him. What's going? And then, during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal too, there was a little miscommunication there. So now I think we're going to get a Santos Escobar Rey Fenix feud, which is going to be super duper badass. Charlotte Flair, dropping her chance to become the women's champion at WrestleMania. Obviously, congratulations to Tiffany Stratton. What's going to be next for the Queen? Will she try to get a rematch at Backlash? Who knows? If anybody can do it, it'd probably be her. What's next for the WWE Women's United States Champion? Last week she got pinned by Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega would be an amazing, suitor to be the next, the second ever Women's United States Champion. So would love to see that built up more. Jade Cargill coming off of a win against Naomi. I feel like she would be great as a mid-card title holder. Maybe the next one to challenge Chelsea Green. But like I said, Zelina Vega also on top of that list. But now what's going to happen next for Jade Cargill? Tiffany Stratton, obviously, like I said before, retaining the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania Night 1. We're going to hear from her. Maybe, potential challengers. I love the fact that Tiffany Stratton, but then this kind of sounds bad. I love that she kind of plays to the competition a little bit. Like there was a couple of times in that match where Charlotte seemed like she was holding Tiffany by the hand a little bit, slowing down spots, so she can catch up. But it's good for her. She's learning. No, obviously a little rough around the edges, but you're still young. Tiffany Stratton's still super young. Going to be the future of the WWE Women's Division on SmackDown, or maybe she makes her way to Raw during the draft. That's also something to take into consideration. Are they going to mention anything about the WWE draft tonight? I highly doubt it, but hey, it could happen. Jakob Fatu is your new WWE United States Champion. Are they going to finally start building up this, tribal chief, Solo Sikoa? Tungaloa maybe comes back. Zila Fatu, Hikuleo comes in the picture. Like right now, the Bloodline storyline seems dead. So obviously, I feel like the only one besides Jay, but Jay is completely, I feel like he's out of the picture as of the Bloodline storyline. But now Jacob has a title. He has the main mid-card title on WWE SmackDown. Now there's kind of something to fess and fight over, and it's going to be perfect when they put Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu back together. But of course, LA Knight still has a rematch, but he got beat pretty soundly. But hey, it is what it is. Whereas Alexa Bliss Sunday, usually the SmackDown to Raw after Mania. I kind of compare WrestleMania to like the Super Bowl. After it's a clean slate, fresh storylines, and I would definitely love to see Alexa Bliss back in WWE. The Wyatt Six, ever since we found out they're on SmackDown by Nick Aldis and The Miz was running rampant all over trying to find some formidable allies. When are they going to bring these guys back? They had such a huge pop, obviously losing to the Final Testament for no apparent reason. But of course, you find out later that I think Bo Dallas was the one who was injured, and without Uncle Howdy, there's kind of you kind of cut the head off the snake there. Love to see them back on SmackDown, but I feel like they'll be back after the draft. Like I said before, Carmelo Hayes getting that push after winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial Battle Royal. Okay, it's a little bit of tongue twister there. So congratulations, obviously, first and foremost to him. I definitely love Carmelo Hayes, and I want to see him do more than what he's already been portrayed in SmackDown. Damian Priest coming off of a loss in that street fight. How is he going to bounce back? Drew McIntyre, he won pretty soundly. Not soundly, it was clean. It's a street fight. So, no rules. I want to see, these guys kind of come back together, shake hands, the better man won, yada, yada, yada. And then they bust out into a fight once again. Something about Drew McIntyre, and, you kind of credit him for this, is to be able to drag out a storyline and a rivalry for about, for a solid 3 months. Like him and CM Punk, oh my God, it just seemed like it just dragged on forever. So I feel like at Backlash, you're going to get another run at this match. We're going to run it back. And this time, Damian Priest wins. And then maybe the final, they'll be tied 1-1. And then, after that, 1-1, meaning that without any outside interference, obviously, when Damian Priest was the World Heavyweight Champion. So, maybe SummerSlam, we see these guys go at it, winner take all kind of situation. But Drew McIntyre also on fire. Nia Jax, what's next for Nia Jax? Where has she been? The WWE, WrestleMania roast kind of went down under. There are a lot of WWE is deleting footage. Anybody having that footage could be in deep trouble if they post it. So Nia Jax was the one roasting Charlotte Flair, saying that she was in a competition with her dad who can drop the most divorces or something like that. Obviously that is absolutely horrible. That's crazy. But Nia Jax has to come back to WWE. Would be interesting to find out her confronting Tiffany Stratton again. Naomi loses against Jade. Obviously, that's what it was meant to be. Jade had a chance to work with three close friends inside of a storyline, and then her and Naomi. I think Naomi did a great job to kind of help Jade, learn the ropes in terms of what it means to be in a WWE event somewhere like WrestleMania, where the nerves can run high, and kind of being in there with someone that you don't know so much inside the ring. You're talking to each other, you're trying to give each other nonverbal cues. And it's kind of like wrestling your best friend. A lot of WWE wrestling wrestling all in general. Sometimes the best rivalries are best friends going at it, like Christian Cage and Adam Copeland in AEW. Also Triple H and Shawn Michaels as well. So can't wait to find out what's going to happen on SmackDown. The SmackDown after Mania is expected to be a banger. I can't wait to watch it. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our second segment. We got Karrion Kross cuts a pipe bomb that has been exploded all over the wrestling media. We're going to talk about it, maybe what it means. Is this the end of Karrion Kross in WWE, and maybe he wanted to go out with a bang? Or maybe this is WWE pulling our legs, saying that, just kind of reeling us in there, dangling that piece of cheese in front of the mouse or the hamster on the hamster wheel. And I'm that hamster. Anyways, we're going to talk about it. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.